The human mind is a terrifying thing, and while it's capable of so many great things, it is also capable of some of the most disturbing and horrific things that we and even comprehend. And when you add in the concept of religion, well, that's a terrifying mix. What do you know about the most evil weapon in history? How would you feel if you were told your entire life that you were being raised for the sole purpose of sacrificing yourself to an evil god? You probably would unbelieve me if I told you there was a real cult out there doing this very thing. But unfortunately, it's true. And the craziest part of all of this is they are doing it to worship some demonic figure. Instead, they are worshiping the one true God. I have to tell you about a mystery that's been hidden for 70 years. When this story comes to light, I don't think you will ever look at religion the same way again. This is the albino killer, and these are the creepiest weapons in horror. No. 1. The albino killer. There are lots of myths and legends surrounding albinism, but almost all of them seem to be centered around one common theme. People who have albinism are always seen as cursed or somehow connected to Satan himself. In a lot of countries, people with albinism are persecuted and murdered. They are blamed for bad luck, and sometimes they're even used in black magic rituals. But in 1984, something happened that made the world take notice. On June 1st, 1984, 4 teenagers were camping in the woods outside of Baton Rouge. The kids were having the time of their lives until suddenly they heard a noise in the trees. They couldn't quite make it out, but whatever it was, it sounded big and scary. At first, they thought it might be a bear or maybe some other kind of animal, but what they saw was much more sinister. They saw a man covered head to toe in nothing but mud. He didn't say anything and just stood there silently watching them. One of the guys pulled out his shotgun and fired 2 warning shots into the air. That's when the man took off running. The group decided not to follow him and instead set up camp for the night. In the morning, when the sun came up, the police found the man. His name was Gary Ridgway Jr., and he had a knife sticking out of his chest. It turned out that Gary wasn't just a homeless guy. He was a computer programmer from Louisiana State University, and he had a degree in mathematics. But all anyone could talk about was the fact that he was covered in dirt and mud and looked like a wild man from the woods. There was no explanation for this behavior, and it scared the whole community. And then 2 weeks later, another body was found. It was a young woman named Cheryl Cardinal, and she had been brutally stabbed to death. The police began to investigate, and soon they made a shocking discovery. They tied Gary Ridgway to Cheryl's death, and he was arrested. But here's where the story takes a turn. You see, Gary Ridgway did admit to killing Cheryl, but he denied killing anyone else. He said that he was homeless and that he had been living in the woods, eating nothing but squirrels and rabbits. He said that he was desperate and that's why he killed Cheryl. But the police knew he was lying because they had evidence that he had killed at least 3 more women. When they dug up his backyard, they found the bodies of 3 missing women. Gary was charged with 5 murders, but he pleaded guilty to only 4. To this day, no one knows why Gary became a killer. And the scariest part of all of this is that he may have been driven to insanity by nothing more than his obsession with albinism. No. 2. The ritual dagger. Some weapons are designed to kill, but others are designed to scare. If you've ever watched the movie The Wicker Man, you'll know exactly what I mean. In the film, a policeman goes to a remote island to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. He soon discovers that the island is home to a secret cult and that the girl was sacrificed to the pagan gods. The policeman is then taken to the center of the island where he is burned alive. It's a horrifying movie, but it got even scarier when it was revealed that a similar ritual actually took place on this very island. Between 1968 and 1973, 5 men disappeared on this island and their bodies were never found. Some people believed that they had simply run away, but others believed that they were killed in a satanic ritual. In 1974, a local farmer found some bones in a shallow grave, and police were able to confirm that the bones belonged to one of the missing men. It turned out that the man had been stabbed multiple times in the chest before being buried, and the weapon that was used was an ancient ritual dagger that is still on display in a museum today. Number 3. The machete. There are few weapons that are as iconic in the horror genre as the machete. From Friday the 13th to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jason Voorhees and Leatherface have both terrorized moviegoers with their trusty machetes, but the machete has been used in real life, too. The first recorded use of the machete can be traced back to the 16th century, when Spanish conquistadors used them to hack through the thick jungle undergrowth in Central America. The machete proved to be a useful tool, and soon everyone from plantation owners to slaves were using it as a way to clear land for crops. During the Haitian Revolution, the rebels used machetes to fight back against the French and eventually gained control of the country. The machete has since become a symbol of freedom and independence, but it's also been used for much darker purposes. In 1989, a group of 8 men kidnapped 3 women from a bar in Mexico City. The women were taken to a house where they were tortured and mutilated. One of the women managed to escape, but 2 were never seen again. Police found out that the killer was a member of a cult, and he had used a machete to dismember his victims. No. 4. The hammer. If you want to find the origins of the hammer, you have to go back thousands of years. The earliest known hammers were made from stone, and they were used by early humans to smash open nuts and skulls. But as technology advanced, so did the hammer. Today, hammers are made from metal, and they're used for everything from building houses to smashing pumpkins. But some people take things too far and use hammers for murder. In 1989, a man named Richard Ramirez went on a killing spree in California. He broke into homes and attacked the occupants with a variety of weapons, including a hammer. He was eventually caught and sentenced to death, but he died in prison before his sentence could be carried out. And in 2009, a man named Mark Suttle went on a similar rampage in Australia. He broke into several homes and attacked the residents with a hammer, killing 7 people. Sutcliffe was convicted of murder and given a life sentence without parole. So why do people use hammers to kill? Well, it's simple. Hammers are heavy and they hurt a lot. No. 5. The chainsaw. The chainsaw is one of the most versatile tools ever invented. It can be used to cut down trees, to carve pieces of wood, and even to dismember human bodies. That's right. The chainsaw has been used in some pretty messed up ways over the years. For example, in 1984, a man named Peter Stuckman kidnapped 2 women in Florida. He chained them up in his garage and then used a chainsaw to dismember them. And in 2003, a man named John Wayne Gacy used a chainsaw to kill at least 33 people. But the chainsaw has also been used in some more artistic ways. For example, the artist Joseph Cornell created sculptures using chainsaws, and he was also known for using chainsaws to carve pumpkins. So what's the scariest thing about the chainsaw? Is it the fact that it can be used to kill people? Or is it just the sound that they make? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Which of these horror weapons would you never want to mess around with? And do you know any other horror weapons that should have made the list?